Character is defined as doing something right when no one else is looking. Find out what Armstrong School District is doing to promote character. Education Today starts now.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm John Zisch with the Armstrong School District. This week we're taking a good look at the importance of character as it relates to youth development today. Armstrong School District is a major partner with an organization called the National Character Education Foundation. And to explore this today, we have with us David Rettig, the founder and CEO of the organization, and Bob Stanko, Vice President of Operations. We also have Superintendent William Kerr from the Armstrong School District. Gentlemen, on behalf of the school board administration, thank you for being here.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate your time. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself, starting with Dave?
Yeah, well, I'm the janitor and the founder of the National Character Education Foundation. Actually, when you do this kind of work, you need to be a servant as well as the directional outlook of the organization. But my background's in baseball. For a number of years, played baseball. Also started another nonprofit organization years ago, back in 1990, with youth sports development programs called Christian Sports International. And this is actually a subsidiary, if you will, from those ideas from years ago, the National Character Education Foundation, which was created in February of 2003. And it's pretty much it on my life, but I mean, other than keeping busy. Yes.
Terrific. How about you, Mr. Stanko?
I'm the new guy on the block, Jonathan.
Okay.
I've only been with NCEF since November. 30-year resident of Armstrong County, and had my own business here for about 20 years in the financial industry, and also worked as a administrator with a community church here in town. So I'm really excited. They have a great vision, and my heart has always been with youth and developing principles, leadership principles, financial principles in our youth today. So when the opportunity arose with the NCEF, I was really happy that I had the opportunity and the door open to actually go in and be part of that team. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the years ahead and the year actually working with schools all across the country.
Oh, that sounds great. Dr. Kerr, how about you?
Well, I'm in my 7th year as superintendent, soon to begin my 8th year. And every year we have exciting programs and initiatives underway. But I have to tell you that the National Character Education Foundation is one of my favorite initiatives that we have underway here in Armstrong County. So it's a pleasure to be here today, John.
Yes. Well, maybe I could turn to Dave, since you were the founder of the organization. Would you please tell me a little bit about the origins of the National Character Education Foundation? How did it all come together?
Yeah.
And what are its goals?
The origins are kind of simple. In 1996, I was part of the National Football League sanctioning committee for the Super Bowl. And the intention was to develop clinics and sports camps for kids that came to a venue that this NFL sponsored called the Super Bowl. And through that experience, having NFL players at a venue, the kids loved it. The guys got to share a little bit about their life, what encouraged them, what made them become professional athletes. And then 2 years into that program, I just had an idea that we should bring these guys into the public schools that surrounded the Super Bowl host city. And it was just a huge success. We did 45 schools, what you would call assembly programs, in 2 days, and we hosted the program in Tampa, Florida, when they hosted the Super Bowl. And the reception was so overwhelming. And it prompted us to think, there could be a possibility that there's a greater need outside this area that we could do this, and we should do this on a full-time basis. And that's what created the National Character Education Foundations.
So when was your official start?
The official start was actually in April of 2003, even though we were incorporated in February. We started doing programs in April of 2003.
Okay.
And since April 2003, we've been in, which is really exciting, over 300 school buildings.
Unbelievable.
And so it's continuing to grow. And of course, we've done a lot here in Armstrong County. This is our premier school district because we've had such a great relationship with all of you, and your students have been great, administration has been great, the community has been wonderful. So we've been embraced by all of you, so we feel really kindred up here in Armstrong County.
We certainly appreciate the compliment, and we're glad to have you in the school district as well. Here's a question for perhaps both Bob and yourself. What are some of the activities that the National Character Education Foundation undertakes in the schools?
Want me to start, Bob?
You start, Dave.
Yeah, well, first of all, we do assemblies. And we do it with a group that we have a segment of organization called the All-Pro Action Team, made up of professional speakers, performers, athletes, and they go in and of course many of your students have seen these members do assemblies that are based on integrating character education into the format of their program. So, for example, you had Charlie Escherman on the broadcast here before, the Navy SEAL Nike basketball handling champion. He's integrated many messages on the behavior of good, the benefits of good character, I should say, because of his past experience of being a Navy SEAL and overcoming life's obstacles and those kinds of segues into his message, and the kids responded very well. We also have evening programs for parents that we'll do. As parents want to understand youth culture, we have programs that are now going into curriculum-based programs that are going to be more of a daily introduction of character education to students. And right now that's from K to 12. We're trying to mature that from K to 8. We're trying to mature that to 9 to 12. And so just a few things that we do right now, but we're continually to grow and work with gentlemen like Bill Kerr that could have some great ideas for our future as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think one of the exciting things is a lot of the speakers really have a heart to bring the community involvement in with the schools, and to see the business relationship where the students can actually gain experience on the business element of developing character in the workplace and investing in it. Dr. Kerr, one of you mentioned before about investments in some of the other programs that I've attended with you. And that's really what we want to do. We want to invest not only with the students, but have the businesses and the community invest in the children. So the speakers have a real heart for seeing that element come to life. And the All-Pro Action Team is just a great bunch of individuals that have that same heart and same vision.
Well, that's great. Before we go on, I'd like to give our viewers a taste of the All-Pro Action Team.
Sure.
They've come to some assemblies here in the school district, so let's have a look at some footage of that.
But this little kid did not care, and he's just having fun. He looks over at me and he pulls out of his pocket this blue ticket stub. It looked like a movie ticket stub. I couldn't tell what it was, but it was blue and it was like falling apart. Like he had it in his pocket for like 10 years, and that's weird because he was only about 3. But anyway, he looked over at me and he just saw me, he knew he had me, and he goes, "Hey, mister." He goes, "Yeah, you." I was like the only one over there. I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I got a lucky ticket." Hook, line, and sinker, man, he had me. I'm leaning up against the wall. I said, "What's it for?" He said, "I don't know." And I started thinking about it. Man, if I could have been half as happy within my own skin as he is within his, what a joy school would have been for me. I just admire that. I'm jealous of that little kid. You know why? He was happy with who he was. Here's how I went to school. I never walked through school like this. And that's good because people will laugh at you. But what I'm talking about is, I wish I could have gone through school, and I wish I could have gone through my life looking ahead and thinking for me and doing what I was going to do. Instead, I walked through school like a lot of you walk through school. And the way you walk through school is the way you walk through life. Have you ever noticed it? We usually don't just follow our own dreams. We're usually walking and looking left and right, left and right. And all day long, somehow, we're looking for acceptance and approval. Is my hair okay? Is my shirt okay? Is my car okay? Can I be your friend? And so we go through school like that. And what's really weird is that some ninth graders go to high school, and it's a new building, and they're just learning in a new environment how to walk and compare and look for approval. And it's sad, but kind of funny, because they're always banging into things. Now, some seniors ought to wear football helmets, because for 4 years, that's what they've been doing. It's okay. I don't care. I like blood. Pain doesn't bother me. Today is about you being honest with you. Today is about you coming to grips with something that you need to change. Today is about you becoming a better person.
Come on up here, give her a hand, let's go!
All right, what's your name? Sonia? Sonia? Tanya?
All right, what's your name?
Sandra.
Sandra. Okay, Sandra. To spin the basketball on your finger, it's real simple. All you have to do...
Grab the ball on the side. Twist your hands in front of your face. Spin it and catch it. Grab, twist, spin, catch. Go for it, Sandra.
All right, not bad for a first try. Now, Sandra, have you heard of that famous athlete? He was a basketball player. His name was Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Well, maybe she hasn't heard of him because he just retired. Again. But Sandra, when he played for the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan was a 5-time most valuable player, a 6-time world champion, and a 14-time All-Star. But Sandra, did you know that Michael Jordan failed to make his freshman basketball team?
Yes.
She knew that. Try it again. All right, a little bit better. Have you heard of Helen Keller?
No.
No, well, she was a woman who graduated from Radcliffe College, became a teacher, an author, world famous, had movies made about her life. But Sandra, did you know that she accomplished all these great things after becoming deaf and blind as a little girl?
No.
She didn't know that one. Try it again. All right. Have you heard of Abraham Lincoln?
Yes.
All right. Sure, he wrote the Gettysburg Address, the Emancipation Proclamation, and is generally considered the greatest president this country's ever had. But Sandra, did you know that Abraham Lincoln lost 6 different elections prior to running for and becoming elected president of the United States?
Yes.
He knew that. All right, now, Sandra, what do all these famous people have in common? Did they all fail?
Yes.
But did any of them give up?
No.
No, if they gave up, I wouldn't be talking about them right now because nobody would know who they are. And Sandra, if you don't give up, someday people are going to know who you are, and pretty soon, you're going to be doing this.
Go get it.
And if you really persevere, Sandra, someday you might even be doing this.
That was amazing. The National Character Education Foundation really knows how to connect with today's youth. Dave and Bob, would you please tell us a little bit about the speakers who we just saw?
The big thing with all the speakers is there's so much bad rap on youth in today's society about their respect toward the elderly and toward their teachers and toward the whole society. But all of the speakers really focus in a lot on teaching the youth to respect themselves. Because if they respect themselves, they're going to respect others. And that's what I see a lot with people like Bill Sanders and Charlie and Bobby Martin, is that they just have an opportunity and a way of connecting with the kids to bring out that element of starting with the respect for themselves.
Definitely. I've noticed they're all very approachable people.
Right.
And they just
right.
teach the kids to let it flow out of them so they can better society. You know, we're so lucky to have those assemblies and presenters here, Dr. Kerr, in the Armstrong School District. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how it all began. How did the NCEF come to the Armstrong School District, and how did it all start?
I have to give full credit to a businessman by the name of Ray Bortz. He owns a business in Catania, and he's very active in his church and community. And I've known Ray for over 30 years. And he introduced me to Mr. Reddick, and right away I knew that the Character Education Foundation was a program that we needed to become involved with as a school district. Just by the mere fact of their mission and goals, it really mirrored what we needed in the district. As you may know, we have an anti-bullying program, and we needed to take it to the next level. And the National Character Education Foundation came through with the assemblies that we've had, the outstanding role models that you've spoken about, from Billy Martin to Bob Holmes, to Charlie Eshelman, and others, absolutely outstanding role models for our young people to hear. It's so important today that students have the opportunity, and adults really, to make good choices. I always say that, you know, every time we have the opportunity to make a decision, let's make the right decision, regardless of who's watching or who is around, because as you know, integrity, respect, courage are so important in terms of the characteristics that we need to instill in students, especially in this day and age.
Well said. You know, that leads me to my next question for you gentlemen. What are some statistics on youth development today and the culture?
Yeah, the culture, you know, obviously it's changing. And, you know, you'll never find an individual at the NCEF ever blaming a child for the way they behave in this culture. And the reason I say that is because most of it has been permitted by adults, and they learn from us. And, you know, I love these kids that we see, but I got to tell you that they have migrated to an area in our society that is not family oriented. The gang, for example, happens to be one of the fastest growing family units in America. The gang. They're accepted there. You know, we have some real statistics now on crystal methamphetamines and how not only does it affect that individual's life, but now it's in epidemic proportions in many counties in Pennsylvania, you know, where they create this hazard. You know, just some of the violent things that have taken place in different school districts across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You know, we've had more expulsions of kindergarten students than we do high school. You know, that'll give you an indicator. Now, there are some disruptive behaviors that are taking place, and they're trying to get to the bottom of that. But, you know, a lot of these issues, I really believe, extend, you know, out from the home base of the individual student. It just does. I think parents sometimes are just so lost in the you know, in society and how to address their students because there's so much of a change compared to when they were younger, and it's hard to understand what goes on, you know. But we have some things that are taking place that are out there that are not so good for our students, for our kids in general, that basically work against what the family traditions have been. You know, there's a lot on sex. We wonder why there's a disrespect for women, young girls. You know, there's obviously a lot on the, you know, drug and alcohol culture. And we wonder why they're running red lights and get into fatal accidents. You know, why these things happen to increase over time rather than decrease when there's so much knowledge, you know. And I think really the Character Education Foundation's primary goal right now is to connect and say, listen, you know, if you really wanted that, you know, then go ahead and do that kind of lifestyle. But I know you don't. You know, there's another side to this. And there are people that care for you, you know, really do, that are your, you know, mentor in life, that'll take you and walk you through life if you need it. And that's what we want to base our life on. That's what we want to base our mission on, because we know there are Dr. Kerrs and there are Bob Stankos and there are others that are out there that really do care genuinely. If a child can feel comfortable enough to talk to one of us, to get their insight, we just might stop them from doing something that would hurt their life. You know, but they got to feel confident in us first. That's why we try to make that connection. But youth culture is changing so fast. It's just like the computer. You know, every day they come out with a brand new software, a brand new Windows program. While the culture changes that quickly, so you need to stay on it and understand it, and have the kids feedback what's going on in their community. Ask them once in a while what they're going through, what they see, and but.
And some sobering statistics.
Yeah,
and really, the you know, when you look at the whole in today's society, I mean, children are spending more time in the schools. I mean, the teachers and the faculty have more time with those students than most parents do, and so, you know, who better than to educate and have that heart, and that's, you know, that's the great thing when you see teachers out there and you see the effect that they can have on the young people today, and that's where they, you know, that's where it all needs to start. And I believe, you know, organizations like NCEF and the speakers that are on the team and just linking together and partnering together is you know, where it actually can launch from. So it's got some great opportunities.
Yeah, I appreciate that overview and the fact that you guys are meeting the need. And Dr. Kerr, you kind of hinted at this already, but officially, for the record, what's your position on the importance of character education?
Well, it's the highest priority in youth development. You know, we want to make sure that in our schools we create a positive culture of caring for one another, And obviously that leads over to a very productive environment in our schools and communities, because we want to connect our schools to the communities in hopes that students will instill within themselves good, strong values in their everyday life, making good, healthy choices when they come across some difficult decisions. As we know, there's an awful lot of peer pressure out there, and it's important that students stand up for what they believe in and stand for something positive in their life, knowing that there are consequences when young people or anyone may make a wrong decision. We have a policy that brings all of this together in our school district, and it's a character education and citizenship policy. And so we want our students to value what's good in society and to contribute back to their schools and communities. And so if they understand the rights and responsibilities under this freedom that we so cherish in our country, then they will be good, positive contributors to improve our society and help us face all of the ills of society and what we need to do to help make our country and our communities and schools a better place in which to live. So we think that within our curriculum there's much embedded. Our goal is to make sure that students not only make those good decisions as a part of their everyday curriculum, but on the playing field and good sportsmanship and making sure that we respect adults in authority and we have that mutual respect for one another certainly goes a long way in our promotion of youth development and good character.
Sure, and the policy certainly backs that up. So
Absolutely. Our board of directors, as a school board, they have been absolutely supportive and good, strong, effective leaders in promoting character education to continue to have the freedoms that we have in our society and to demonstrate that we have good contributing members as students and adults.
You know, I'd like to interject something on behalf of what Bill said. You know, there's a lot of viewers, 5 counties, you know, and a lot of people thinking that, you know, it's the school's responsibility, perhaps, you know, or maybe they just feel like they just can't get involved or they don't know how to get involved. Well, I want every viewer to understand that there's really nothing special about us.
Right.
You know, really, there is. I mean, I consider myself an average, ordinary person that really cares about kids, no different than any other parent does. So there is a place here for them to get involved in. You know, I mean, a lot of people will just stay away because they feel like they're insignificant or they failed at home already. You know, I mean, that's not the truth. The truth is you could always come back. If you have one breath left in you, you can get yourself back in there and you can help support what's going on that's going to be, you know, which is something that's for all part of our society. Every part of our society is integrated by either good or bad character. And that's just the way it is. And if you asked any student, there's many of them in here, if you asked any of them sincerely at an honest moment in their life, you said, would you rather have a good life or a bad life? One that's full of trouble, full of drugs, alcohol, and disrespect and jealousy and those kinds of things? Or would you rather have one that people look up to you, you know, they consider you a man of integrity or a woman of integrity, and they can come to you to help them? You know, what would you pick? And they would always pick the latter, always, every time. You know, and you ask a parent the same thing. Would you, you know, I know you might have made mistakes, but you know what? You can get involved. Get involved in the PTA. Get involved with the local school. See how you can help. And, you know, and together, honestly, and I know you heard this all the time, but together you can make an incredible difference like you're trying to do here, Bill. You know, and I salute that. I do.
I appreciate you mentioning that.
If I could just make a comment about the National Character Education Foundation in general. This group has been a blessing to us in this school district and community, and I especially thank Dave Reddick and Bob Stanko for their leadership. We have taken it to new heights. We're looking at a caring habit program for one of our elementary schools where we have a special grant that's been awarded, and we'll be working that out in the coming days. But I cannot thank these gentlemen enough for the impact that they've had on our students and parents and staff in making this a very effective program. There's no school district or individual or community that is immune from the drug and alcohol problem alone.
That's right.
And so if we can help teach young people to make good, healthy choices, the right choices, then we've saved a life or two. That's our goal.
Absolutely.
And I think, Jonathan, excuse me, you know, when the parents hear of an assembly, those doors are open for them to come in and attend.
Absolutely.
You know, those it's not restricted just for the students, and you know, for them to attend one of the assemblies and actually see, you know, what goes on would be a great opportunity if they're,
It sure is.
you know, part of it. So
Sure is.
Yes, I'm sure they'll be affected by it too.
yeah.
You know, and again, if there's business leaders that are out there too, and these are workforce social skills that we're developing as well. You know, there's involvement for people out there. They can get involved with this program. You know, I'm so thankful for Scott and Dressy, the program you have for community awareness, to be a part of that.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, we're not just in the school because the school day ends at 3 o'clock. These kids go back into the community. You know, one day they're going to work for somebody like a Ray Bortz, perhaps, you know, and Ray's going to want a good worker. And so, yeah, everybody has an interest in what we do. And I think that's really what makes it so exciting to us, because we really don't, you know, we have, I think, the entire community's in our mind that when we go through our programs, that we really want them to benefit from it.
That's great. Well, now I'd like to turn the attention towards future plans for the National Character Education Foundation. And Dave, I would like it if you'd hit those highlights, please.
Yeah, well, one in particular is going to be on May 2nd. And it's a tribute to the General Assembly, the legislature in Pennsylvania, and also the Attorney General's office as well, because of their support of the National Character Education Foundation over the last 2 years. We've been in part of the Pennsylvania budget to help us to conduct these kinds of programs. That really helps us a lot. So I'm excited, and Dr. Bill Kerr is going to be one of our guests at the Rotunda Steps in the state capitol. And yeah, so we're pretty excited. Bob Stanko is going to be leading that charge. And so we're hoping to have some students out there and numerous others that could, you know, just say, hey, listen, you know, we thank you for what you did do for us, and you're making it possible for literally hundreds of thousands of students across the state of Pennsylvania to have these kinds of programs, and we want to thank you for that. And so that's a big event for us, and we're excited to do it.
And we're working on a motto to launch in the upcoming school year, where it's called "Everybody Matters and Good Decisions Count," starting with me, starting today. And hopefully to get the schools involved and work off of possibly even developing a good character award in the different districts that we could promote and then possibly award when we're out in Harrisburg. So just some exciting plans for the kids. So we're excited.
The character award could really affect a lot of districts and
Exactly, right.
motivate
Sure.
a lot of students.
Sure.
Any closing comments?
Well, I'd just like to thank Bob and Dave for their involvement. We're real fortunate to have your
Thank you.
organization as a
Yeah.
part of the Armstrong School District. We have been truly blessed. And I also would like to thank both of you gentlemen on behalf of the Community Awareness Day program for sponsoring, being a primary sponsor of that. I know that Scott Andressi and Gary DeComo and Joellen Bowman, our steering committee heads, are real pleased with your support and involvement, and we hope that we've started a long-term arrangement here to help Armstrong County grow and do the right things.
Yeah, likewise. We do appreciate being up here, and you have some great leaders.
Yes, that's
you
right.
really do. You have a core that can really grow this and make a great difference in the community here.
Excellent.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you both.
Jonathan.
Well, that's our show for today. To my guests, Dave Reddick, Bob Stanko, and Dr. Kerr, thanks so much for being on the show. Hope you had a great time. To learn more about the National Character Education Foundation, visit their website at www.ncef.net. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. For more information about what's going on in the district, please check out our website the next time you're surfing the internet. Take care.